Back on Inside Tennessee, our conversation with East Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett continues. If you're joining us on this Sunday morning, again, we're recording this on Wednesday evening, so some of the things we are talking about may be dated to this point. Don?
So, Congressman Burchett, obviously we're friends on a personal level, but we disagree about virtually everything politically. And so I hear you say, for example, other candidates that would be good for Speaker. I hear you say, America wants this, America wants this. Frankly, it looks like the Republican Party has a myopic view and forgets that 50% of America doesn't want what your party's suggesting, and at least 22, as of Wednesday night, of your party think that Jim Jordan, they're not K Street lobbyists. I bet you're not even prepared to say all 22 of those people are beholden to K Street lobbyists. But what do you say about trying to find some kind of candidate that the other 50%, the Democrats, can go, we realize you have a slim majority, but there needs to be a moderate that can get something out of the House that the Senate might actually pass? What do you say about a candidate like that?
Well, first of all, Nancy Pelosi never, ever, it was the national media would say something that was bipartisan when you had two people that maybe ran in New York that won in a district that
sometimes as many as 20 or 25
and 15%. Well, do what, Don?
Sometimes as many as 20 or 25 Republicans would sign on.
21's the number, but yeah. So 21 people don't think that Jim Jordan. Well, let's break those down. Who are they? They're in three categories. You have freshmen, basically out of New York, who are in districts where obviously Joe Biden won, and they won, and they're Republicans. So that's New York. You take another third of those people, and they're the war hawks, the guys that continuously vote for war, continuously vote for more armaments, continuously vote for bloated budgets at the Pentagon, who has never passed an audit, who loses billions of dollars every year. At one time, 60% of their assets were unaccounted for. And the third group are the appropriators, the very ones who do not want to see Jim Jordan or any fiscal conservative get in there. And so that's what we're down to.
Among that group, where would you put?
And those don't overlap either. They do not overlap.
So among that group, where would you put East Tennessee Congressman Chuck Fleischman and East Tennessee Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger? Where do they fit in among those three?
Well, Chuck, of course, is an appropriator, and he'll tell you that. And he is, but he voted for Jim Jordan. He's not up in the upper echelon of that leadership. And Harshbarger, of course, she is a member of the Freedom Caucus, oddly enough, and she voted for Jim Jordan as well.
Well, let's go back, Tim, to the McCarthy vote. And you were one of the 8, of course, that caused Kevin McCarthy to lose the speakership. I think the public knows why, because you felt like that he stepped across the aisle too far and approved a bill to get to the Senate on a budget that was not balanced, and that has been your mantra and theme ever since you've been there. So that said, Newt Gingrich, not long ago, just said that you are, quote, a traitor to the party and should be expelled. I want to hear your response to that, because Newt Gingrich, frankly, is one of the lions of your party, and those are pretty serious words.
Well, Newt Gingrich got voted out, as you know, out of leadership, and he is trying to sell another book, obviously, on Fox News. And I'm not going to go into it. I've read a little on his history today, but he is not Tim Burchett's moral compass, and I dare say
neither is Jim Jordan, I hope.
Well, Congressman, when we look ahead, you are facing a looming deadline of the middle of November to pass a budget. Your prediction on what will happen? Will the government shut down in mid-November?
Well, we're not going to pass a budget. Kevin McCarthy ran a 45-day continuing resolution, which is what I said they would do, and they moved it right up against the Thanksgiving holiday, of course. That is not by accident. So we'll want to get home to our families, and we'll pass something ridiculous, loaded full of junk, just what the appropriators and the K Street lobbyists want. And again, we'll go further and further in debt. And that's the way Kevin McCarthy left us. When we came back that first Monday, does anybody know what we did? We rushed to the House floor to vote on naming 2, not 1, but 2 mail offices, post offices in different parts of the country. And that was My lights just went out. Sorry. Got it. Trying to save a little money up here at Longworth. No, but that's what they did, and they do this every time, and that's what they're trying to do now with another speaker, but by naming a temporary speaker, which will push us. They'll go 40 days or 6 months or whatever, and then we'll wait right to the end to do something about it, and we do that every time, and yet there's no urgency.
Okay.
And that's what's got to change. That's what I voted against. That's what I voted when I voted to remove Kevin McCarthy, because we cannot continue down this path. We're paying $1 trillion a year right now just in interest alone to the communist Chinese. So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, whose side are these people on? I don't care what party they're in. If they're not going to get us on a fiscal, when AOC, my friend AOC, and she is my friend, I know people go crazy when I say that, but I don't really have any enemies up here that much. You would probably find that hard to believe. But even she says our fiscal ship needs to get in order. I think we ought to start paying attention to that.
Only about 30 seconds left. Susan, last question.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. You mentioned Mark Green. Is he a serious contender for Speaker?
Well, he's one of them that's on the list. He's a chairman. He was put on there by McCarthy. Homeland Security, absolutely. And, it's going to boil down to probably the person who is not hated. I was on that list until I worked to kick out Kevin McCarthy, as many of my friends have noted up here. But I would not qualify. I would get 2 votes right now, and one of them is not me. So.
Congressman Burchett, we know you have to run, but we appreciate the time, and we'll be back in touch. Thank you, sir. And we're going to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee.